Hey, what's up, family? This mental stimulant, and I'm coming through real fast. Hey, I wanted to share something with you guys. I just got a download about, and it kind of blew my mind. So I want to go ahead and put it out in the atmosphere before I forget, because I tend to forget a lot of these downloads when I'm moving around. But I spoke earlier on about manifestation. A lot of spiritualists have been speaking on it a lot, how in order to bring your manifestations into fruition, you have to make yourself sort of delusional, right? Meaning you have to put yourself in almost a childlike state. You remember when you was a kid and you believed in Santa Claus, you believed in all these different things that were fictitious, but that's where all your magic was. This is how you pulled in your manifestations. But there's a two side to that coin, because you can also be blessed from the Creator with those very things that you're manifesting by healing and doing shadow work. Now, it's way more simpler than we even make it, from my understanding of what I'm getting right now. You know, God wants us to be healthy. He wants us to be healthy in mind, body, soul, and spirit. He wants us to evolve. He wants us to learn lessons, clear karmic debts, and progress. And in order for your soul to progress, you have to get rid of your flaws, so to speak. When I say flaws, I mean things like people pleasers that are unable to say no. Well, you have to put yourself in a position where you're practicing saying no. Especially what I know about people pleasers, because I'm also one in a sense. I had to curb my need to help all the time, but also you have to be okay with saying no sometimes. It's healthy, because a lot of times we don't want to do the stuff we say that we agree to a lot of times. But because we have such kind hearts, we do it anyway, knowing we don't want to. In those moments when your higher self is telling you, no, we don't want to do that, those are the times when you should be saying no, because the inclination is already there. Your higher self is already present, trying to guide you and navigate through life, because our higher self already is present, telling us, no, we're not doing that, or we're not going to that party, or we need to be doing this, we're going to tighten up, etc., etc. We always have the connection with our higher self. Some people say my right mind, but your higher self is already present and trying to help you navigate. But sometimes we don't have the understanding to be able to distinguish the difference. And sometimes, our ego sometimes overpower our higher self. So a lot of times when we put ourselves in these positions, we always say, I should have went with my first mind. Yes, you should have, because your first mind is your higher self. But a lot of times what go against your first mind, your higher self, is your ego. The ego is bound to do everything the wrong way, everything that is not good for us, everything that's self-pleasuring and immediate gratifying. That's what the ego wants, although most times it's no good for us. So when you establish this understanding and you start putting yourself in balance, finding balance between your ego and your higher self, and you're more conscious and aware of the decisions you make, the Creator rewards you. Kind of like a parent saying, you know what, you got good grades this semester or this year. Those tennis shoes you've been saying you want, I'm going to go ahead and get them for you. Or those manifestations, I know in your heart you want X, Y, and Z so bad, I'm going to go ahead and put that to fruition for you. And then a lot of times we say, this is a blessing, this is a blessing. It's just, I don't even understand. It just felt Yes, because you're being blessed, really. We're already pretty blessed, if you ask me. We are already pretty blessed, regardless of where we are in life. We're all pretty blessed, spoiled even, but we don't have the eyes to see how spoiled we really are, because the Creator gives us so many passes. Just think about it. With everything that's going on in the world, the Creator could say, you know what, I'm going to start over and ball up the paper. Then where will we all be? No more complaining about this or that. You'll just fail to exist anymore. You know, the Creator was so gracious enough to give us free will. This thing could be automated and we don't have no will at all. But our mindset is so messed up and so ego driven. The whole world is constructed off the ego. But when you work on these things, when you work on self, when you stand and face yourself, your ego with your higher self, and you put these two in balance, you get rewards for that. God start opening you up to the next level, and the next level is harder than the last. But the more and more you get understanding, the more you'll breeze through it like a champion. It won't seem so burdensome or so hard anymore. Even if you were put in a position where you had to beg and borrow, that stuff wouldn't even bother you. You probably would do without and learn how to live off the land, because your mindset has changed. The things that used to be important no longer exist in your mind. The ego is not running the show any longer. If you're bad with your eating habits, work on it. You ain't gotta be perfect. Work on healing your body. Start taking more pride in being healthy and not just looking good, putting on clothes and dressing up the avatar. Why not go inside and fix the inside? You excessively drink, you drink. Most people drink because they're bored. That's when it starts to become excessive. Then it becomes a gateway to basically fix everything that you subconsciously believe is wrong in your life. When actuality, you're just numbing yourself and taking a break from your actual life. And it's the problems are not going anywhere. The alcohol is not making it any better. The alcohol is simply numbing you to what is present, what needs to be worked on. Avoiding looking in that mirror. If you're an excessive smoker and you know that 75% of my income is going to a habit, my lights need to be paid, I'm struggling with my car note, my children could use this income, why not work on that? Because it's not doing you any good, really. It's just a habit that you like, that feeds your ego and gives you immediate gratification. The same thing with sex. We all know, if you're fortunate enough to have the right partner, sex can be great. But, that's a whole nother gateway right there, because excessive sex, you're draining your sacral, you're draining all of your creativity, you're giving away your blessings, and that good sacral energy, you giving it away. And a lot of times, without knowing, without conscious awareness, we be laying down with people that got cursed bloodlines when they're born from something auntie 5 generations down that did, and no one has knowledge of. But yet you're walking around in a cursed bloodline that you inherited, and can't figure out why everything around you is in chaos and turmoil. And instead of us looking and dealing with self to try to figure this stuff out, we attach to something outside of ourselves. We pick up the bottle. We have excessive sex. We do all of these things, even eating. You know what I'm saying? Some people are addicted to drama, gossip, toxicity, fighting, destruction. And it all circles back to an ego problem. Ego and pain. Nobody wants to look at what really hurts them. We all want to convince ourselves that it never happened. And that's mostly because those that were put in positions to be parental figures around us, they did the same thing. I bet if you stop and take a look right now at your elders, they ain't doing no better than you. Why do you think that is? It's a perpetual cycle that continues to go on generation to generation, and everybody looking around at those that are more fortunate that is doing the work or didn't have all these blockages in their way starting out, and you become to be jealous of others, envious of others, manipulative of others, and you're just setting yourself back further. Because no one really wants to stop and look at themselves. Everybody else is the problem except for yourself. Now, granted, a lot of this stuff is generational and we inherit it from our ancestors. No, it's not fair, but it is what it is. Is you going to take on what they did, the mistakes that they made? Are you going to squander your lifetime of fixing the problem, or is you gonna lay down and take it like everybody else in your bloodline did? That's the difference there. This is how you acquire your blessings, your good karma. Watching how you treat and speak about others, watching how you speak about yourself. A lot of times we be speaking out our mouths, cursing ourselves, wallowing in pain and an inflated ego. But it's more simpler than everybody makes it seem. No one tells us that we are the answer to all of our problems. We are the answer to all our problems. If we stop taking that finger and pointing it at everyone else, well, my mama did, or my mama didn't, my daddy did, or daddy didn't, okay, that is fine. Let's look at that and see everywhere that they went wrong. Everywhere that you blame them for messing up your life. Let's take a real look at it. And say, 1, I'm not going to do this. 2, I'm going to sit with myself and calm myself. My inner child, make my inner child understand that all of these things that happened to you were not your fault. But you're also not a victim. You can get up from here. That's like that card in the tarot deck. They say, I can't remember what it is. I never had that deck before. But they say it's a depiction of someone being locked in a room and the key is right there next to the door. They can free themselves at any time, but they have themselves convinced that they're locked in. Same thing. It's the mind thing. Oh my God, this is so powerful. Because it's so simple. It's so simple. All we have to do is focus on ourselves. And not dwell on what's wrong. Not dwell on what's wrong, because we have an opportunity to really